I always wondered what was really going on in my father's mind. Charles Edward Willox. He would whittle away at small branches or otherwise uninteresting scraps of wood for hours, lost in the quiet moments of himself. The works were beautiful, simple, intricate. He would carve small endless chains, making links, perhaps trying to make sense of the war. We will never know. My father was 23 when he joined the army during the First World War. He was a timber cutter and a bullock driver. He went to England in 1915. Then he cared for the sick and ill on board a boat as they sailed to France. A skilled carer, he was stationed as corps medical personnel in a French hospital, which at one point caught fire. He jumped into a well which was iced over to source water to put the fire out. It was a bucket brigade operation, passing buckets and buckets from one person to the other over to the fire. He quickly developed pneumonia and ended up a patient in the hospital. He never fully recovered, and every year or so after that he fell ill. It's hard to imagine what it was like there, although he never talked about it much. Not to us anyway. He never talked much about the war at all. From there he travelled to Edinburgh, where he met his wife, our mother, Kitty. Years and many stories later, they had 3 children. My brother Harry, or Joe as we used to call him, was born in 1923. A keen interest in the army and the war. He wanted to enlist as soon as he turned 18. The Second World War was well underway. Harry went to the recruiting office to join up. However, in the course of the interview, the officer advised him he would better serve his country by staying home, looking after the farm and raising pigs, to produce pork for the Yanks. Surprised and sorely disappointed for having been knocked back, he went home and worked the farm with the family. I can't help but wonder if my father had anything to do with this. He had a certain amount of influence in those quarters. Was he protecting Joe? What really happened in World War I? He never talked about it much. Not to us anyway. He would whittle away at scraps of wood for hours, lost in the quiet moments of himself, perhaps trying to make sense of the war. We will never know.